Well, so as you kind of lean into this idea of the content and the messaging, what are some of the key checkpoints that you encourage leaders to think about just when they're sitting down with the proverbial white screen, white paper? What should they be thinking about and how they should be structuring a message?
Yeah, well, I'll mention two things. One being we actually have to stop and think, what are the needs of today's readers rather, because they might not be the same as I was thinking when I learned to write. So many of us, we learned to write all different amount of years ago, right? Doesn't matter how long ago it was. We typically were taught to write for one purpose, which was to show what we know and get judged for it, right? So that's just, we've all had that in our culture growing up. Well, now we're at work, and if we're a leader, I'm not so sure our team wants to hear everything we know, right? That would be the wrong instinct in an email to all hands where we're trying to motivate people for a new project, right? It would be the wrong instinct suddenly to show everything we know. So we have to think, well, what do today's readers need? They're all dealing with content overload, right? So how can we make our message really targeted, concise, and just kind of oriented to their needs? And with that, my second tip will be, and we can unpack this more in terms of some practicalities, but especially for leaders, that anytime you write, you have two goals at once. And often we've been only brought up to think about goal number one, which is informational. What am I trying to say to you? What is important for me to get sent out there? Okay, but that's still kind of in our old mindset of when I write, I think about me. I'm going to get judged for this. It better be correct. I'm going to think about all my thoughts. Well, it's a different outlook now. We have to think about what they need. So we don't only have the informational goal, we also have a relational goal when we write. And many of us have experienced this, right? When we do an email or a text where we disagree with someone, but we work hard to preserve the relationship. Or we criticize someone, but we work hard to keep trust, even if we don't like their idea or want to redirect their behavior. And so keeping that relational goal in mind, because it's always there, especially as a leader, right? A team member will read into emails, right? That's what we do when we look at our boss's emails. So we always want to write through the lens of those two goals, or we might forget that it doesn't really matter how glorious our information is if it hasn't connected with the receiver and they're therefore not ready to receive it.